You ever get called a filthy rancher on your own property by someone who just learned the term HOA in a Facebook group? Yeah, that's how my Monday started. Brenda Martinez, president, queen, and wannabe tyrant of the Willowbrook Estates Homeowners Association, was already outside my front gate, platinum blonde bob sharp enough to slice bread. Red suit so loud I could see it through my eyelids. She actually dialed 911 in front of a dozen neighbors, screaming about a dangerous trespasser, and that trespasser was me, Jake Morrison, sipping coffee on the land I've owned for decades. If you're watching this and thinking that can't be real, buddy, you have no idea. Brenda was about to find out exactly who she was messing with. The day I rolled up to my ranch after 6 months away, the old oak tree still stood century, branches wide, but the air buzzed with something nasty. Before I'd even turned off the engine, Brenda's already at the gate, camera rolling, clipboard clutched like a weapon. Well, she sneered. The uneducated hillbilly finally returns. I cradled my mug and played dumb, country drawl and all. Morning, Miss Brenda. Something wrong. If I'd known how wrong it'd get, maybe I'd have backed the truck up right then. According to Brenda, my grass was half an inch too tall, my rooster crowed 3 decibels too loud, and my barn was aesthetically offensive. It was like she'd memorized the HOA rulebook and rewritten it just for me. I scratched my head, sipped my coffee, and let her rant until she decided to escalate. I'm calling the cops, she shrieked, live streaming every second. There's a dangerous trespasser, possibly on drugs, refusing to leave HOA property. The neighbors watched from behind curtains, phones out, and in minutes, the internet exploded. Hashtag Justice for Jake trending, Karen calls cops on landowner, racking up 1 million views before I'd finished my first cup. The police showed up, looking about as thrilled as I was, and Brenda put on a show, waving papers with a signature she'd forged, swearing she'd bought part of my land last month. Homeowners Association, you fool, she sneered, we control everything. The officers, to their credit, suggested everyone calm down and maybe sort this out legally, which didn't fit Brenda's script. She was out for blood, and the crowd was loving every second. After the circus left, I slipped into my house, dropped the Rancher Act, and fired up my laptop, a little system I built after the last time an HOA ruined my life. Map of the U.S., 342,000 dots, one for every HOA. Willowbrook glowed angry red. Then my phone buzzed. Jake Morrison, we know you're back. Castellano sends his regards. I felt my blood turn to ice. Vincent Castellano, the reason I'd lost everything back in 2017. What was his connection to Brenda? Why now? Next morning, 6 a.m., Brenda's got a bulldozer in my vegetable garden, live streaming the destruction. No vegetables allowed in luxury residential zones, she screamed, grinding 40 years of my mother's tomatoes into the dirt. For a second, my mask slipped. I dropped to my knees. Stop, please. That's my mother's garden. The comments on her feed turned ugly. This wasn't petty HOA drama anymore. This was cruelty, and folks were seeing it. My groundskeeper Mike showed up, put a hand on my shoulder. That garden was 40 years old, Jake. Your mom would be heartbroken. That hit me harder than the bulldozer ever could. By afternoon, Brenda was waving fake environmental reports at the press, demanding $75,000 in cleanup fees. Neighbors started offering help. Mrs. Henderson, who's 72, brought me a sandwich and water, whispering, "This isn't right, Jake." Mike was snapping pictures of every doctor document Brenda flaunted. The support meant something, even if I had to act like I was ready to give up. That's what they want, Jake, Mrs. Henderson said. Don't let them win. Not again. The next day was Brenda's finale. 5 a.m., 3 trucks from Swift Eviction, 12 security guards, looked like extras from a bad biker movie. Brenda in a fresh power suit, live streaming evicting the trespasser to 70,000 people. She shoved papers at me, yelled, "Sign this or we drag you out." I let the pin slip, feigned confusion, and just when she thought she'd won, she slipped up, shouting on camera, "Everything's going exactly as we predicted." The comments went wild. Who's we? Who's pulling the strings? Then, the police showed up again, cuffs ready. "Sir, you need to come with us," an officer said, but his phone rang, his face drained of color, and he backed away. "Yes, sir." FBI? Understood. Brenda's face went sheet white. Then her phone buzzed, and her hands shook as she read, "You talked. You're done." The whole thing was unraveling fast. At 7:30 a.m., Brenda's biggest performance, cameras, security, banners, even a news crew. "Today, we restore order," she announced. I shuffled out, every inch the defeated farmer. "Please, I just want peace," I croaked, and she howled, "You'll get peace in jail." But at 8 a.m., a fleet of black SUVs rolled up, feds, not local. Out stepped Franklin Hayes, FBI badge gleaming. "Sorry we're late, boss," he said, loud enough for everyone, and for the live stream's 156,000 viewers to hear. I let the transformation happen, hat off, shirt unbuttoned to show my CEO badge beneath. "My name is Jake Morrison," I said, "founder of United HOA Solutions. We oversee every HOA in America." Brenda collapsed, her empire crumbling. "We've recorded every crime, every violation." "Brenda, you're under arrest." Mike pulled off his gardener's gear, FBI vest underneath. "Special Agent Thompson, pleasure working with you, Brenda." As Brenda was cuffed, my phone rang. Castellano. "Remember me, Jake?" He spat, face like a snake pressed to glass. "I took everything from you in 2017. You think you can take from me?" I just smiled. "Actually, Vincent, I do." Within hours, Castellano's whole network, 500 HOAs, 10 million homes, was exposed, $1.4 billion frozen, 147 conspirators arrested, luxury HOAs under federal investigation. Brenda confessed everything. Castellano was her puppet master, skimming $1 billion a year by weaponizing HOA rules. Within days, Jake's Law was born, capping fines, demanding audits, booting thousands of corrupt board members. HOAs nationwide turned green on my map. But the fight wasn't over. Patricia Wellington Hayes, the next final boss, emptied my accounts overnight. She showed up at my ranch, dripping Chanel and contempt. "Drop the law, disappear, and you get your money back. Refuse, and you'll regret it." I just grinned. Her theft had triggered federal tracking. Her friends were already in cuffs. She tried to run, face planted in the mud, and the internet had a field day. The great HOA collapse swept the nation. We arrested a system of fear, I told reporters, and meant it. Months passed. America changed. HOA corruption nearly wiped out 67 million families safe. I still lived at Willowbrook, still drank my coffee under Freedom Oak. A journalist showed up one morning, joked, "Any HOA rules I should know about?" I laughed for the first time in years. "Just don't be a Karen." But the Hydra wasn't dead. Patricia warned me my law had a sunset clause. Unless Congress renewed it, everything I'd fought for would disappear. On the last day, as the map flickered red, the Senate tied. Then, a senator from Montana stood, voice shaking, "I vote yes." Jake's Law was permanent. Justice, at last, tasted sweeter than any morning coffee. 2 years later, I stood before the United Nations, sharing America's solution with the world. Brenda sent a letter from prison. "Thank you for stopping me." And my new neighbor, a real fan, just wanted a selfie. But as I closed my laptop, ready for peace, my phone buzzed. NASA. Mars Colony HOA is finding colonists for red dust on their suits. Can you help? I just grinned at Mike. Book 2 tickets to Mars. Someone has to make sure Karen doesn't colonize space. And if you think this story's wild, just wait, because the last email I got was from Castellano in federal prison. "Dear son, we need to talk about your inheritance and your sister." My coffee cup slipped right out of my hand. "So tell me, if you were in my boots, would you have fought back or just moved on? Let's hear your take below. Justice or revenge? Where's the line?"